the quote says, given the state of change resulting from the social revolution, consider the following. In the long term, the most important question for a company is not what you are, but what you are becoming. And then dare to be naive. So, Tom, how does this fit in?
Well, here's all the topics we're going to cover, and let's just take them one by one here. Really, what is the digital virus? Let's explain what we mean by that, Charles.
Okay. Sure. You want to hit that one, Tom?
Sure. One of the things we're discovering is that as time goes on, as more businesses port over to online presence and expression, there's less and less quality digital space available. What we mean by quality digital space, it means where eyeballs can see you, read you, listen to you, watch you. As those properties become more competitive, as more money flows in to the online market, it's becoming more and more competitive and harder to access and grab that space. So what's happening is there's a fight for first page and search. There's a fight for quality presence anywhere online, and that's only going to increase. And those who understand the need to secure and to position themselves with quality space are going to be those who win. And because all the other traditional markets have been used for marketing and advertising are fragmenting, and there's less and less of what we call a ubiquitous means to get a message out. It used to be 20 years ago you could use TV and radio and cover 90% of your entire market. That can no longer happen. People's attentions are spread all over the place in social networks, in some of the traditional medias, to all the emerging new medias, and it's harder and harder to capture a single message, to brand a company, to get your message out, or to get quality eyeballs seeing your product and service. We call it the digital virus because what's happening is as the space is being dominated and secured, it's creating a virus that leaves people without access to those eyeballs, and eventually they're just going to die. It's just like oxygen. If they don't have enough oxygen, they're going to stop breathing. If you don't have enough eyeballs on your business where people are looking for them, which is increasingly digital space, your company is not going to survive. We see this especially within local markets because we're involved in local marketing. But that's sort of the concept behind it. There's 1,000 other things we could say about it, but that sort of gives it in a nutshell so you understand what we're talking about there. So, you know, how we discovered this and the cure is just by being in the market. And we began to be building social systems and software, and both Charles and I met each other because we had noticed how what we call social buzz or social proof factors were affecting SEO about three and a half years ago. When we do things other than anything else, we wouldn't do linking or any of the traditional SEO stuff and simply rely on what we knew as social proof factors, we'd see rankings in effect. So we knew the search engines were tracking that, and we just began building systems on the basis of that research and testing, and we've continued to do so, and really Send is you know, a outflow of all of that. The cure we're going to talk about tonight, and I guess you can summarize the cure in a nutshell, is that you've got to begin viewing your business not just as a PPC business or a SEO business or trying to find one channel to do email marketing or banner ads. You've got to start thinking of yourself as a total presence, a total brand, no matter how small you are, and start building social proof into everything you're doing. And we'll talk more about how to do that and how software automation fits into that. But you're going to be hearing more and more on this. They're now starting to write on it. And you need to begin looking at your business in a totally different way. one way to put this is you need to begin looking at it the way big brands would look at it 20, 30 years ago. And now you have the opportunity to do the same kind of impact that they would do with a lot less money if you do it properly and you do it right. You've got to be more places. You've got to have more things spoken about you. You've got to have more social proof factors involved in your entire online portfolio. And there's ways to go about building this. And if you're smart, you'll begin to build it now, because the benefits of that will be you'll be part of that 50% that may survive. I mean, it may be less than that, actually. We don't know yet, but we know it is severely attacking the market already. So, Charles, having said that, I'll kind of let you talk more about social proof and social buzz and how you and I found this. And so, take it.
Yeah, well, this exploration goes back a number of years, even back before the master plan days, which was a guide to basically on-page SEO elements that search engines were paying attention to. You know, me and my team and Thomas and everybody else, we're all very avid testers. You know, you'll hear things echoing through, you know, conference halls and going back and forth by email. You might even hear gurus talking about a certain thing like inbound linking is king, or content is king. And, you know, we hear that and it's cool. And we're like, okay, that's great. Now let's test it. And we don't believe anybody. So we go in and test these things. One of the things that was quite a shocking discovery was the fact that we started building web properties, and they started getting ranking based on nothing but inbound social proof, or social buzz, as I like to call it. Tom and I kind of go back and forth on which one to call it, but I think social buzz is more of a subcategory of social proof. Social buzz is something that occurs when people interact with your content, and then those interactions are recorded somewhere in the Internet archives. So, for example, let's take a website like Delicious, which is a bookmarking network. And let's say you just did a new blog post today, and you had 500 people come in to read your new blog post, and a certain percentage of those people decided that they would bookmark your blog post in Delicious. Let's say that that number was 10 people, maybe 20 people. Well, that 10 or 20, that is your social buzz count. That means that 10 or 20 people found the content to be good enough to bookmark because they want to remember later on. Guess what, folks? The search engines are looking at that count. This is something that's not widely talked about yet, but it's going to be, and me and Tom and our group might be the ones that kick it off. But social buzz is a factor, and it's not only happening on Delicious, it's happening on hundreds of different networks. And we're making it our business to pay attention to which networks those are and utilize that to our advantage. So when we're talking about social proof as the ultimate antidote, that's just one element of it, you know, especially with the release of Google Caffeine, came out a few months ago. Google is now paying attention to not only the content on your site and how your site's laid out, which is your on-page SEO factors, but they're also looking for deep inbound traffic, and they're also looking for social proof elements. You know, are people talking about the content here? If people are talking about that content, then it's probably relevant. It's probably interesting. So maybe we should list it higher in the index. And there's no maybe about it. We're seeing that this is absolutely factual. We've ran tests on websites where we did no inbound linking whatsoever and just did inbound social buzz building, social proof factors, and we can watch our search engine rankings go up. And if you think about why this is, you got to look at it as this is the search engine's last line of defense against spam, search engine spam. And I know everybody on this call tonight has gone and done a query for something on Google, and it pulls up less than relevant results, or it pulls up results that are 3 years old, and you have to keep digging until you find something more recent or more relevant. Google understands this problem, and so does the other search engines, by the way. Social proof is the last line of defense, and real humans actually giving thumbs up to content. You can't really trust inbound links.